Dominique, thank you so much for having us here today at your gym. It's so great to see it in real person. I mean, it's amazing what you've built here.
Thank you so much. I'm really proud of it, and it's certainly been a labor of love.
How long ago in your career did you say, I want to do this, I want to coach, I want to create a space where girls can have what you needed as a gymnast coming up?
I think I learned everything from my coaches that I didn't want to be. And I think those lessons in life are just as valuable as who you do want to be. And I was in a situation where I didn't have the best coaching environment. I had very harsh coaches. They were mentally and physically abusive in the sense that they overtrained us, they worked us, they humiliated us. And really we were treated very much like something that you could just throw out in the garbage, just like a piece of trash. So for me, that stuck with me for many years. And I wanted to make something that would give me purpose, because for so long I had been fighting, the topic of abuse in our sport, and I felt so alone for almost a decade. It was so hard to be out there. My story never changed. It was always the same. And so people were really throwing the arrows at me and stones at me all the time. And it really hurt, because I was at the beginning of becoming a parent at that time. And all I was doing was speaking the truth. And so oftentimes people don't want to hear that truth. And over the years, the dialogue about the topic has changed. The conversation has changed. And so after being so outspoken about that topic for so many years, I wanted to have that turn into something tangible. I wanted to open up a gym and have purpose. And I was at a point in my life where I needed a change and a shift in my life. I was getting kind of caught into my daily routine, and I was not feeling enough purpose. And so this is what drove me to create DMGC, Dominique Moceanu Gymnastics Center, and also Carmen's Yoga Studio, because the yoga side of things is something that's I'm really passionate about. And I also became a yoga instructor at the time I was constructing and remodeling this building here. So under those 6 months, I got my 200-hour yogi certification, and now I'm in my master yogi certification this year. So I'll become a 500-hour master yogi as well.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
What a cool project. Mm-hmm. So now you're here every day, and who's here with you? Girls you're training, women in your studio? Tell me.
Yes, I'm here a lot at the gym and a yoga studio. Probably 95 to 99% of my time is spent coaching, but also the other side is the administrative duties. So I'm here 90-95% of the time doing a lot of things, 20 hours a week coaching. I have a yoga class, a hot power class that I teach on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. I coach higher level athletes at level 9 and 10. And so we just completed a full competitive season that we just started this past year officially, and took them all the way through to the nationals. I have a level 9 national champion and vault champion that came out of DMGC, and also level 10 qualifier. So our program is growing. We have 3 state champions from all various levels. I'm really proud of the coaching staff that we have here. It's really been a big team effort, because we have to have the same vision and the same goals to align and get these children ready for their competitive season. We have great preschool kiddos and lots of fun themes for them. So a lot of the work here is just the grind of every day of getting out there, coaching, doing what I love. And that's the easy part. I always tell everybody, it's the administrative duties and it's the reliability of staffing and coaching. That's the hard part, right? It's to make sure that people are reliable and their word means something. And I can't tell you how many times there have been some disappointments when people don't follow through with their word and they're not honest. And all I ask is be honest. Staffing is probably one of the hardest things in a gym club setting. It's very, very difficult sometimes to maintain and get the right staff that have the same passion and know that this is not just a job. You're working with children. It's a privilege to work with children, and you have to love them or else this is not for you. You have to be here at all levels from preschool and we find the right fit for the right person. but we have a really great team staff right now that I'm really proud of, and we're always working through finding coaches for preschool and evolving and getting ready for the Olympic boom. And it's almost like, oh my gosh, where are these people? We need to keep finding more people, and it's tough to find staff. I think everyone in the country is having a struggle finding people to work, and I think that's been the hardest part about running this program and running the gym is just reliability, people to be honest, to say what they mean and mean what they say. If you say you're going to show up, I'm going to expect that you're going to honor your word. But my attorney says, well, this is why we're in business. The people don't keep their word anymore. They went out the door. So it's unfortunate, but it is part of owning a business. And I think every businesswoman knows this, if they've been in business long enough, that they will deal with these difficulties at times. But I'm really grateful. Like when I'm in the gym, I love being with the kids. I love helping see them grow. I love to watch them have those aha moments of excitement in their skills. And I just love the daily, commitment of that and seeing them grow every year. And it's just very fulfilling. And so that purpose has turned into fulfillment, where I felt that for many years I didn't have that in my life. So certainly changed my life too.
That's so good to hear. And I know you mentioned, that some of what you wanted to bring as a coach was what you didn't have. You have become what maybe 13-year-old Dominique needed at the time. What is that simply? I mean, is it love? Is it some of those things you were talking about?
Absolutely. What I think I needed when I was 12, 13, 14 at the Olympic Games is someone to care. It doesn't sound like something that's very difficult, right? Just show that you care and show that you're not just going to abandon this child at the Olympic Games. You're going to care if they're hurt or not. You're going to look out for their injuries. You're going to try to protect them in any way you can. And for me, I feel like that's what I'm able to do as a coach, is show that nurturing side, but also expect discipline, expect hard work, because a coach is supposed to pull that out of you. And that doesn't disappear. And I was never afraid of that, even as a youngster. I always believed in work ethic. I saw my parents be poor immigrants and live the American dream. Like they did it. They came here with nothing. And I have that instilled in me as well. And so I carry that with me every day. I think a lot of people can tell you that my work ethic is tremendous. And I don't always expect everybody to be that same way, but I do expect a certain level of excellence here, and I want people to strive for that, because that's what makes everybody better.
In watching the Tokyo Games, as you said, you're preparing here for the Olympic boom, and by that you mean all the signups that are going to come because people watch gymnastics and get excited about it for themselves?
Yep, that's right. So we're already filling up in classes, and it's almost difficult to keep staff on hand to make sure that we have enough people to help, and that's a good problem to have, but sometimes it's really tough to find quality coaches. And I think all of the gymnastics gyms struggle with this. I know one of my friends, if you can find them, tell me where they are. She's in another state, but former teammate of mine, has the same challenges. And I think anybody who runs a gym knows that that's usually the hardest part about it is consistency, continuity, people showing up, making sure that they do what they say they're going to do. And it's part of owning a business. It's part of running a business that, employs staff and all of that. But I'm really excited for the Olympic boom, and I know that we have a great core group here, and I know that they're gonna deliver when they need to.
Well, you're watching at home, and obviously there have been all kinds of twists and turns already in these games. What are you thinking about?
While I'm watching these games unfold, I just feel like, wow, after everything hit in 2020 and there's been this delay, I think we are starting to see some of the psychological effects of that delay for some athletes who have a lot of pressure on them. It is, enormous expectations when you hit the Olympic stage. And a lot of people don't understand what that feels like who've never been there. There is a lot of pressure. I felt it when I was 14 years old in our country, as it was a double-edged sword. You had the home court advantage, but you had the pressure of doing something that never had been done in history. So that was a lot of pressure. On top of it, you have coaches who are really being harsh towards you and not caring about your well-being, and you have to deliver anyway. You have to find a way to dig deep, deliver anyway under tremendous amounts of stress and pressure. So I can sympathize with some of the things that are unfolding at the Olympic Games, especially with Simone, and the fears are real. There are many athletes, and coaches will tell you this, that have been in the sport long enough, that these kids do get what is called the twisties. It's kind of like the yips. So you get spatial awareness that just gets lost, or there are athletes who can't go backwards anymore. They have a psychological block. And it's hard to get rid of that in a day or two. It's almost impossible. You have to work at it for a period of time. Sometimes you have to go so far back into the basics, depending on the severity, if it's mild, moderate, or severe. You have to go back to just forward rolls, backward rolls. You have to just start getting your awareness back on the ground again. And I remember my Russian coach, doing a lot of that stuff and doing forward rolls and dive rolls, because some of the athletes they'd work with would have fear of twisting and blocks, and they couldn't twist. And so he would just kind of be like, okay, let's start to flip again. Just learn how to do a dive roll again. Learn how to flip your body over again, because it is a very real thing that a lot of people don't know about. They don't talk about it often because it doesn't happen on the grandest stage in the Olympic Games ever. You don't really see that. People try to mask that, to try to cover it up, deal with it how they can. But if Simone feels that she's unsafe, well, there's no way she can go out there and put her life at jeopardy and cause a catastrophic injury when you don't know where you are and she's doing the level of difficulty she is, and she's having a panic about it. So I think she made the right decision. Obviously, you have to look out for the well-being of the athlete. She's 24 now. She's been there, done that. She values her worth and self-compassion, and I think that's a good thing, because we never had that. Nobody cared about us. And our generation, it was like, just do it, or if not, okay, next in line, you're just kind of shoved to a corner and you feel like a piece of trash. So that's just not how it needs to be. It can be done with compassion, and she's getting a lot of support. And I even sent her a message, just gave her a little heart. And I said, I mean, a lot of people are with you, that. And I think she'll feel better about that decision, and to pull out of the all-around finals is a big deal. But she's going to let somebody else step up and, get a chance to be on top of that podium. And it might be Suni Lee, it might be Andrade from Brazil. I mean, there are plenty of people who are waiting to get on that podium. So good for her to recognize that and bow out gracefully. And look, I don't trust myself, she said. I don't want to do anything stupid that she might regret, or she might have some more errors that could cause harm to her and her team. So I completely understand that decision, and it was the right decision at the time, although the team was completely stressed out in those moments. But Team USA came around and they totally came together. So kudos to them. We're not really even stepping out a little bit and recognizing what these girls did, these young ladies, right? Because they're young women. To get out there, lose your team leader, rally around and get the silver medal, they earned that. Fair and square. So I'm really proud of them, and we should definitely applaud the young ladies who are out there and give them credit too for stepping up when they needed to. Simone's carried them all this way. So it's great to see the rest of the girls step up when it really mattered, and under a tremendous amount of stress and pressure in a matter of seconds, because you have to shift that mindset so fast.
Yeah, pressure in their own right. It is incredibly impressive. And you have always, again, you've been so open about your experience, about the pressure you faced, and the things that have transpired since. I know your son is a very talented gymnast. When you think about Vincent and you think about his future and potentially an Olympic future for him, do all those things flood into your mind, concerns as a mom and also as someone who's experienced it yourself?
When I think about my son, I mean, he's 2 Olympics away from his very first shot to land an Olympic team. And the irony is, it will be all these years, right, from when his mom competed at the Summer Games. This will be the first Summer Games back home in the United States. So it'll be quite a full circle moment, and it'll feel really good that perhaps God or the universe, right, planted that to happen that way so that he could have a chance to do it the right way, so that whatever harm happened to me can now be given another chance to have it done the right way with him.
For anyone seeing this, we like to include a lot of advice in our Boss Ladies series for young women, but really young people. When you look at a big dream like you had, and certainly yours came so early in your life, but how do you tackle that? How do you emotionally approach that? And what would you encourage people out there that are inspired by your story?
One of the best pieces of advice I would probably give is never give up. And always know that you're going to have your biggest challenges and obstacles right before something great accomplishes, or accomplishment in your life. So you're going to always have something that challenges you before you meet that high level, that goal. There's adversity. There's something that's going to come up to try to test you. But your test, if you overcome that, will become your testimony. And so you have to remember, stay the course, stay honest to yourself, and never ever give up, because that is usually the difference between people who achieve success and people who maybe don't quite get to their goals, because that is the difference maker. And I always tell the girls, follow through, finish what you started, finish well, and you'll be thankful that you did. And so that's kind of a mantra and a theme in my own life is failure for me was not an option. And I think with that mindset, I've taken it to everything that I do in my life. It is not an option. I will go and I will outwork anybody to get where I need to go. And for me, that was instilled at a very young age. So I think just remember your work ethic matters. Never give up and stay the course, because as you climb up, it's new level, new devil. There are going to be people trying to pull you down left and right, and success is lonely. So don't be afraid to be at the top and be alone sometimes. It's okay, but surround yourself with good people that care for you and want the best for you.
Your legacy obviously will be as a gold medalist, but it's much broader than that. What do you hope from this chapter of your life, or what's still ahead, things that you hope to accomplish in the future will be associated with your name?
You know, I hope the legacy that I leave behind is much larger than the gold medal. I think that that was a stepping stone, and that one of my biggest and greatest legacies will be that I stood up to abuse when nobody else really had the courage to, and I took the slings and arrows and I spoke the truth and I stayed true to it all of these years that helped make a positive change and brought others with me to open that door and say, hey, like, we can do this together. And I hope that that will be part of my legacy. The rest of my legacy is to be determined, but I hope that I will have had a positive mark in our sport. So if I were to be gone tomorrow, I hope that people will always remember the passion that I had and what I brought to the sport, and also the help and assistance that I gave others when nobody would listen to them. And then being able to help my own athletes and children, pave the way for a future generation here at DMGC and beyond for them to accomplish their dreams.
Are there a talented group of children here in Northeast Ohio who are training with you, and not just Northeast Ohio, all across the country coming here to be with you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of very talented young ladies here, and I'm really excited to see their path in the next few years, and we're hoping to get our athletes some scholarships. We already have college coaches looking at one of our athletes, actually a couple of them. One of them is a little too young right now, but it's starting, and I think that that's just the beginning. And so I'm really excited about that.
I know we talked about Vincent, but your daughter, Carmen, she inspired the name of the yoga studio, right?
Yes, Carmen, my daughter, is 13 now. She inspired the studio name, so Carmen's Yoga Studio. Carmen is a very special and bright young lady. She's very artistic. She loves art, she loves music, and she loves playing in here. She'll come in on Sunday mornings with Dad, and they'll jump around on the trampoline. And so when it's quiet, she comes in here and gets more one-on-one time, and she loves yoga. So it was very fitting.
And you mentioned your husband as well. I know you are your partners. You know, he's a gymnast as well, decorated gymnast. How does that work relationship and your marriage and your family life kind of all come together here?
Well, my husband and I are definitely two type A personalities. So he's a foot and ankle reconstructive surgeon who has a tremendous passion for gymnastics. He's up at 6:30 in the morning watching the Olympics. So, you know, he's a student of the sport, and a lot of our friends call him the gymnastics encyclopedia. Tell me what score this person got on 1988 Olympics. And he'll be like, he knows. He knows. So he's just a student of the sport through and through. I think if he could choose to do anything, he would love to simply coach his son, and that would be it. He loves gymnastics so much. So it's really a beautiful thing, because my husband is the person who actually brought me back to gymnastics. When I was hurt so much by the people in the sport, I didn't want to be in the gym. I couldn't even step foot in the gym for many years. I couldn't even watch the sport because I hadn't dealt with all of those emotions and feelings of hurt for so many years. And he's the one who dragged me back in. He's the one who's like, come on, let's play. I was like, I don't play gymnastics. I don't know about you. He's like, I play all the time. Come in. So little by little, he would bring me in, and reluctantly, fine, I'll do something. And then I started to like it again. And then I started to find my passion again. I'm like, okay, I can do this in a different way than I was treated, and I can enjoy it again. And that brought me back to find my love again. And I credit him for that, because there was nobody else at that time feeding me with that positivity, feeding me with that, you know, hey, that passion, like, you belong here. He's like, you belong here. You did so much for the sport. You need to be in the sport. And he kind of brought me back, and I do credit him for his love, bringing me and my passion back and fire back to kind of start a whole movement, I think, that, you know, will be making waves for generations.
That you've built here physically, and also, and are you having fun now?
I am. There are stressful times, I'm not going to lie.
Being a boss lady is that way, though,
Being
right?
a boss lady is that way, yes. There are times where, you know, you're spread very thin all the time, and I just need to find balance all the time. But it's hard. Sometimes you're very tipped in one direction and people are pulling at you in 1,000 directions. And so it's a lot. There's a lot on the plate all the time. The demands are high, the pressures are high, the expectations are high from everybody. And so you're trying to deliver in every single category. And I don't do anything halfway. People will tell you, like, I put everything as much as I can in everything I do. And so, you know, that can be wearing sometimes. It can be exhausting, but I'm a person that doesn't give up. So even if I get down about things sometimes, like any human being does, and any parent does, where I feel like, okay, I need to make sure my priorities are in check. I need to maybe change a few things. If I'm not sleeping very well, I need to kind of readjust. And, you know, there are things that recently have caused me to have some of that stress level go through the roof. Especially staffing issues. I think those cause me a lot of stress. And so I'm just working through those, and to be perfectly honest, there are days where it is very difficult. But I really never bring that stress or strain to the kids. I've really learned to, like, block that out. I will deal with that on the back end, and then I will come out to the floor and be there for them and give them my 100% every single time, because that is not something I want to bring on the floor, and I don't want to be that person here on the floor. So I do my best to keep it out, and I think I've managed that part very well, because I will never ever take it out on any child, you know, because that's not me. So I learn how to kind of, like, put that other mask on of, like, okay, this is your zone, you're on the floor now, you have to be this person, and you have to deliver. So.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I know you have a million other things to do, including ladies that are here ready to work with you. The rest of the day is a full docket, I would imagine.
Full docket. I got interviews to go do, trying to hire some new staff. Then I got a Facebook interview at 4 o'clock I got to do. So, you know, I guess the world is needing interviews, because my publicist keeps texting me and says somebody from Asia just got, somebody from Canada, somebody. I'm like, okay, take a deep breath.
Well, we are so thankful to have your voice and to have it here in Northeast Ohio. We're really lucky for that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks, Dominique.
Thank you.